morning. I'm Paolo del Rosario in for Mai Rodriguez. Welcome to Pathways to Success, where we turn spotlight on the heroes of the Philippine economy, our micro, small, and medium enterprises. We follow their inspiring journey and give great insight on what it takes to scale up their business. October is Philippine Coffee Month, a time to celebrate the rich heritage of our local coffee industry that has given birth to thousands of small enterprises. From 2020 to 2023, specialty coffee shops across major cities in the country reportedly increased by 40%, indicating a rising appreciation for carefully crafted coffee among Filipino consumers. Today, we dive into the evolving world of the coffee business. What are the trends, challenges, and innovations shaping the industry? Joining us on the show is Manny Torrejon, the director of the Philippine Coffee Board Incorporated, or PCBI, to share his insights and expertise. Hi, Manny. Great to have you here.
Hi, Paolo. Glad to be here.
Sir, let's start off first with your love for coffee, the passion, where it comes from. What do you love about coffee so much?
The aroma of coffee is fantastic. That wakes me up in the morning. And I've been in the coffee industry for 30 plus years, and I've never gone sick and tired of coffee. Every day is a different day for coffee.
You know, the passion, we were talking a bit before all of this, the passion that you have, the knowledge that you have, ibang level talaga. But we take a look now at the PCBI. Can you tell us a bit about the origins? Why is it there?
The PCBI started way back in 2002. It was conceived by partly the government and the private sector to basically promote Philippine coffee. At that time, coffee was not really known worldwide.
Yeah.
And we were at the point that we were losing the business. Barako was falling, and everything was not in good shape. The Philippine industry, the coffee industry. So the government thought that it would be good for a private sector-led organization to lead the coffee industry, and we created awareness, and we also tried to improve the production of coffee. As you know, production has been dwindling ever since the 60s and the 70s, and we tried to prop up the industry by doing some seminars, encouraging cooperatives to grow coffee, giving out seedlings and the sort.
Is there a reason why it started to dwindle, start the 60s?
Basically, the land for coffee has dwindled.
Yeah.
To grow coffee, you have to grow coffee at a certain elevation. And also, the farmers were getting older. And the children of the farmers weren't going back to the coffee farms. They were going to the cities. They were getting jobs in banks and everything else. So basically, the interest for growing coffee started to wane. Therefore, the industry also suffered because we were actually increasing our consumption of coffee.
Yeah.
And the production was on the other side. So that's why we started the PCBI to encourage more farmers to grow and at the same time create a better image for the Philippine coffee.
One of the things that we've seen throughout the region is that the region has become more competitive with regards to coffee. We take a look at Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, we take a look at even Vietnam to a certain degree.
Correct.
There's a program that's being done by the PCBI called the Cafe Isla program. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Cafe Isla program is a coffee seal. We attach it to products which are Philippine-grown coffee. And we try to represent the Philippine coffee in different areas, like even Singapore, in our regional markets, because PCBI is also part of the ACF, which is the ASEAN Coffee Federation. So this seal marks quality coffee for the Philippines.
Well, do you feel would contribute to yung competitiveness natin, knowing that there's that type of seal of approval?
Yes, it will show the market that these coffees are grown in the Philippines and are of good quality.
There's a lot of competitiveness in the industry. We talked about regional, but even locally, there's so many coffee roasters coming up, so many cafes, a lot of even those who want to learn how to be baristas coming up. You talk about the consumption. Just what are the biggest opportunities you feel for the startups here today?
The startups of today, you can start off a coffee shop with very little capital. And a lot of these coffee shops have mushroomed all over the Metro Manila and also in the provinces. With a kettle and with a dripper, you can start a business.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of these people have gone into the coffee business, because it's quite lucrative if you do it well.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's a source of livelihood. And I'm glad that we've helped a lot of people go into this business and earn a living from coffee.
What do you feel are the biggest hurdles when it comes to that? Because again, there's so much opportunity.
So much opportunity, but you have to be seen. You have to be different. So with all the proliferating coffee shops, you have to be different. You have to be individually unique in order to make it there. Because as you've seen, there are many coffee shops that have opened and closed.
Yeah.
So at the same time, you really have to look into the economics of a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Coffee alone sometimes is not enough. You have to have food.
Yeah, have the food, the experience,
Yes,
the people,
yes,
yeah, the community sometimes that you build around it.
Exactly.
You take a look at the fact that there are so many international coffee chains coming into the country, but then even with them arriving, there are still so many local artisanal coffee shops popping up. Do we have any numbers, or do you see a growth with regards to that?
We're technically, the coffee market is growing about 5% a year. So in other words, there's enough room to grow. However, as I've said, a lot of these new chains from abroad are coming in.
Yeah.
And they're giving the locals a fight for the money. So I think what the foreign coffee shops are bringing in are new ideas,
Yeah.
new concepts, which is good for the local industry. So the locals have to also match up with these new arrivals from abroad.
Forced to adapt.
Correct.
With regards to that.
Yeah.
Sir Manny, don't go away, because that is actually our first cup of the day, because that's just the start of our caffeine-powered morning. After the break, we'll explore more about running a coffee business. So stay tuned. Pathways to Success. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Pathways to Success. We're still hopped up on coffee, and we are talking about how new coffee players are elevating your own coffee experience. Now, still with us is Manny Torrejon, the director of the Philippine Coffee Board Incorporated. Now, we were talking a lot about how there are so many local coffee shops popping up, coffee brewers, roasters. But, the Philippines is one of the few countries that can actually produce all four types of commercially viable coffee. Now, that's Arabica, Excelsa, Liberica, and Robusta. But still, numbers show 70% of coffee used locally are still imported.
Yes.
Why is that so?
Well, that's because of the lack of production in the country. So we have to import a lot of coffee beans outside. So it's a pity, because we could have used Philippine coffee for all of this consumption. But instead, we're importing from Vietnam, from Indonesia, from Brazil. And we're helping the farmers from other countries.
Yeah.
We should actually be helping our local farmers. But we have no choice, because the consumption is there, the demand is there.
What is the gap between the amount of supply that our Filipino coffee farmers could actually produce?
I'm actually being very generous, but I think we're producing about 10 to 20% of our consumption, and 80% we're importing.
Is there a way that we can
Change
lessen
this?
that gap? Yeah.
We've tried. The government has tried as well. I think we really have to change the attitude of the farmers as well. The farmers have to be more proactive in the coffee farms. And at the same time, I think we have to get more investment from individuals or companies that want to go into the coffee industry. I think we lack the investments coming into the coffee industry, basically because coffee growing is very hard. It's not an easy job. Number two, revenues are not guaranteed. You can have an off year, bad year. A typhoon can hit the farm. You know, there are a lot of ifs. Now, if you have an investment in a coffee farm, you have to watch your investment quite well, and you have to grow it properly, have the proper care, and that's where probably we also try to come in and encourage and also teach people how to grow their coffee.
And when you teach them, is sustainability a part of it? Because
Correct,
it's such a big buzzword right now in the industry.
We're trying to encourage more organic agriculture, regenerative agriculture, using what's available, not using a lot of chemicals or fertilizers that may harm the environment. And we're actually endorsing also shade-grown coffee and also certified coffee. Certified meaning the certifying body comes into the farms and they look at everything. Even child labor is not permitted.
Yeah.
However, in the Philippines, it's kind of allowable because it's the farm labor is actually the family that usually runs it because it's small land holdings. But yes, we do encourage sustainability.
Well, let's take a look at the coffee experience in general at the moment, especially with some of these trendy coffee shops in particular, because experience has become hyped up coffee shops.
Correct.
I like your term better than mine. But you take a look at the experience that is now a part of the ambiance, a part of the whole consumption process. Just what are the trends that you feel are changing the way we experience coffee?
Well, mobility. People are more mobile nowadays, and they would rather catch coffee, not sit down too much on the coffee shops.
Yeah.
Get your coffee and go. That's why ready-to-drink coffees are also in demand. You just get a bottle, PET bottle, and drink your coffee on the go. Because a lot of people don't have time to sit down. Actually, the coffee scene has been changing, wherein it's more like a dining experience.
Yeah.
Coffee shops are changing in the sense that people don't really spend too much time anymore in the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Not like before, you know, with work, with computers and everything. Now it's just like I get my espresso, I get my latte, and I want to leave.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of these mobile coffee shops, which are sprouting around the city, works, because people just want to order and they go on their own. So I think it's more a get-go market rather than a sit-down market at the moment. And I think it's going to evolve more into that. It's going to be more mobile.
Well, you touched on it, grab and go.
Grab and go.
You've touched on, basically right now, sometimes you don't even have to go out. You can have it delivered.
Exactly.
Right? But is that something that players can now take advantage of instead of seeing it as a hindrance? Because that day, you're right, the old way of viewing coffee shops were thinking spaces and all of that. But right now, it's so much quicker.
Yeah, it's so much quicker. Like you have apps that you can order from, and when you reach the counter, you have your coffee.
Yeah.
You don't even have to wait for it. So it's really a changing and evolving market in terms of how to deliver the product. So you see more of the mobile, as I said, and more small kiosks that are evolving. Cheaper way to operate coffee shops, because rent now is getting higher. So a bigger coffee shop will be, you know, more expensive for you to run.
Yeah.
And coffee alone, if you only do coffee without much food, you're not gonna pay back the rent.
Yeah.
So it has to be a more compact selling area, more get-go.
The other thing with regards to consideration, with regards to, you mentioned the rent, you mentioned even having to have food there. We also have to talk about the sourcing of the beans themselves. I know some of the startups saying that, oh, we want to go all Filipino, all go local. You mentioned the big gap between the imported beans and the local beans. But then, is that a challenge for local companies to actually just locally source their beans or just have Philippine beans?
There are shops that have devoted their coffee line to local beans. And it has worked for them because a lot of the people who are endorsing or they want to have local beans go to these shops.
Yeah.
But it's more expensive to source local beans nowadays, especially the specialty beans, because they're more expensive than the imported beans. So you pay more for a cup of Philippine coffee, actually. A true or authentic cup of Philippine coffee is more expensive than a foreign cup of Brazil or Ethiopia or even Indonesia. So those people endorsing or helping the local industry are doing a good job because it's more expensive. Local coffee, specialty at that, can be about 30-40% more expensive than imported beans. So, but I encourage people to, to support our Filipino farmers and drink Filipino coffee. That's why some of the imported coffee concepts have also started to do Philippine coffee, because that has been a growing segment of the coffee market in Manila, especially.
Well, we'll talk a bit more about that later on, because right up next, we're going to talk about how can coffee startups step up their coffee game. Now, we'll answer that question after the break, so don't go anywhere. Pathways to Success. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Pathways to Success. Here's some good news for our MSMEs. President Bongbong Marcos emphasized the importance of two government initiatives designed to speed up permits and licenses for strategic investments, a move expected to benefit the business community. At the 50th Philippine Business Conference and Expo, Marcos highlighted the ELGU platform. Launched in 2023, a digital platform that streamlines access to local government services like business permits and barangay clearances, making it easier for companies to operate. He also mentioned the Green Lanes initiative, which has quickened the approval process for 162 projects worth 4.4 trillion pesos. This benefits the business community as it reduces red tape, attracts investors, and supports economic growth. Back to our guest, Manny Torrejon of the Philippine Coffee Board Incorporated, for a few more questions. Now, let's talk about technology here, especially the way that it's been revolutionizing coffee farming, brewing, and even opening new doors for innovation. The PCBI, you take a look at how they've been incorporating technology into the way they work. How have they been trying to keep in step?
Okay, so in the PCBI, we also help, as I said, farmers improve the technology. So we do seminars, regular seminars. At the same time, we do farm tours. We also do coffee processing seminars to particular farms, wherein our expert goes to the coffee farm and teach them how to develop or how to process their coffee in the new technological ways, like new processing ways, like anaerobic fermentation.
Yeah.
We do honey process and other new technologies in the coffee processing area. So we've been incorporating that to manipulate the coffee quality, to improve it, and to sell it at a higher price. So technology in that sense has helped the coffee board.
And of course, trying to stay modern, current, and all
Correct.
of that.
Yeah.
But looking at the future of the coffee board, what do you think are the plans or what are the ambitions in the next 5 to 10 years or so, considering that it feels like we're seeing more and more people getting into the appreciation of local coffee, local beans, and of course, hoping that it'll become a bit more accessible?
Well, PCBI, as part of the ACF, or the ASEAN Coffee Federation, has at the same time invested in what we call the ASEAN Coffee Institute. So this institute also does a lot of study on the quality of coffee, improving the quality, also improving the awareness of Philippine coffee in the region. So at the same time, we're also making people aware in Indonesia, Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia about Philippine coffee. So the inroads that we've done with the specialty coffee in the local market, we're trying to spread it out to the region or the Southeast Asian countries.
Is that the long-term goal?
Long-term goal for more awareness and more markets to open up for Philippine coffee.
Exciting times, and thank you very much, Sir Manny, for really sharing your passion, your knowledge. Ramdam na ramdam po namin, and we cannot wait to see what you guys have in store, and of course, for a nice cup of coffee with you next time around. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Paolo.
All right, so to our viewers, especially the MSMEs looking for opportunities in coffee industry, well, we hope that today's insights inspire you. Remember, success in this space is about quality, innovation, and community. Whether it's supporting our local beans, building a brand, or creating a unique customer experience, every step matters. Thank you very much for joining us on Pathways to Success. Until our next episode here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. I'm Paolo del Rosario, sitting in for Manny Rodriguez. Thanks so much.